So basically, believing is dreaming. What do I mean by this? Well, you know, I'm talking about dreaming as opposed to awakening. When people talk about spiritual awakening, that's the type of awakening I'm talking about, and that's the type of dreaming that I'm talking about, as opposed to um, awakening. But this also is applicable to the dreams that you have at night. You know, when you're dreaming at night, you're in it, and you really don't know that you're dreaming, unless you have a lucid dream, and that's something we'll cover later in a different episode. But for the sake of this episode, you don't know that you're dreaming, and you believe that it's real. And when there's a danger in your dream, it feels real, and there's things that you feel like you're doing or you gotta do in your dreams, and you know and then as opposed to that, there's of course the lucid dreaming where you don't know that. But for the sake of this episode, let's talk about the beliefs and how that kind of creates the dream. you know it could be argued even that a lucid dream isn't truly lucid, and yeah, like I said, I'll talk about that in another episode. But it's the same goes for your regular dreams. And when people talk about awakening and waking up, um, what is in the way of that awakening is not uh, some sort of lack of spiritual knowledge, so to speak, or any kind of I don't know. It doesn't have anything to do with being a expert meditator. Not to say that that can't help, but it doesn't have anything to do with having some sort of merit, or you know or anything to do with prescribing to certain belief systems, even though maybe some of them are a little bit more pragmatic for awakening. But really, what really blocks the what we call in a spiritual awakening is the beliefs, and it's not just stuff like, oh, I believe that this band is really good, or that this politician's a real jerk, or that there's a certain cause that's worth fighting for. It's not about what you believe. It's not exactly what you think it is. It goes much deeper than that. Um, it's just like a dream. In a dream, what's keeping you a dream at night, what's keeping you from becoming lucid, isn't just your beliefs, politically, or beliefs, culturally, or whatever. It's that you believe that the dream is real. You believe that everything about it is not just a belief, but it's just obvious. That's why it's really important, if you're trying to wake up, if that's something that you're interested in, to really analyze and reflect on um, all the things that seem obvious and self apparent, and to really try to get under those things and to see, is that really obvious, or is that a belief? I would submit that, you know, if you really are honest with yourself and you really dig deep, what you'll find is that there is nothing that anybody knows for certain, including whoever's watching this right now. And even the most obvious things that we take for granted, if you really look closely at those things, it becomes really self-evident that these things are also beliefs. Um, even believing that I'm aware right now, I'm conscious. That seems pretty self-apparent. I would say that's one of the least questioned things that someone could claim. But if you really look closely, What is awareness? What is consciousness? These are just concepts that are describe our experience. So they're descriptions. Um, they're words that have um, kind of conceptual baggage to them, and nobody knows what awareness is. Nobody can point to it. Nobody can prove it. It's just a label that we slap on to, you know, basically kind of just something that's unexplainable. And then we take the label and then we feel like we know it because the label is has a defined meaning. But the label itself is only defined against other labels. So it's very circular when you look at it. All of these different words and thoughts and beliefs and ideas, they're just words um, that are defined against other words. And they never really seem to actually contact that which the word is labeling. Um, if you could just bite the bullet and say to yourself, hey, I just don't know anything at all. I don't even know that I don't know anything at all. These are just words that are made up. And these words are mostly made up in order to aid our survival, which is a very biased sort of reason for their existence. It's biased towards humans. Our language is very anthropocentric, and they never really get to any sort of explanation. But we get lost in the words, and we get lost in the kind of the constructs that they build, and then as a society, all these people they kind of learn the same words, and we kind of live inside this mental sort of matrix, and that's what I would call the dream. That's what I would call dreaming. And the funny thing too is that even a mental construct, that's a concept as well, and that's also just a couple words that are made up too. So the whole thing is it's very imaginary, and the dream, it doesn't really exist. It's more of an illusion. So, basically what's going on too is that these words, they contextualize things. You look at an object, and the word object contextualizes what you're seeing, but is it even an object? And and what's that contextualized in? An object. Well, that's contextualized in many things. You could say that's contextualized in the materialist paradigm, claiming that reality is comprised of matter. That's another contextualization. And then you could contextualize that, and so on and so on. And every time you go to another meta level where you're recontextualizing something, it also it reframes the thing that you started to contextualize to begin with. So that object takes on a new identity every time you kind of back up another meta level, so to speak. Kind of like you could be watching a TV, and on the TV there's let's say your eyes are just like fixated on a television your whole life, and then you're watching some movie, and to you that's reality, and then all of a sudden you back up and you realize, wait a minute, I'm watching a TV show. That would be a recontextualization, and and you could also perhaps back up another meta level, and now you just woke up out of your bed and you're like, oh wait, that was only watching a TV in my dream, and that's a recontextualization. You could back up, and there's no way to know the absolute ultimate contextualization, if there even is one. So basically, by buying into any frame of reference or contextualization, that's a belief, and when you believe that, that creates an illusion, and that's what I would call dreaming. Similar to in your bed at night, if you were having a dream and then you realized, wait a minute, I'm dreaming. That would be a recontextualization, and I'm not claiming that there is a recontextualization, an ultimate one to understand, because that's the thing is like how could you even know if you've reached that ultimate understanding, when there's no way of knowing what that's couched within. So the problem here is that none of this should be taken as any sort of belief as well, because then you are really just tweaking your beliefs. So when you learn about this stuff, it's very easy to adopt a new subtle belief. You could have a belief that I don't have any beliefs, and that's a meta belief, a belief about a belief. And even saying you have no beliefs is a belief. So it's very tricky. I think that, to actually wake up, what's important is to just totally see through the game that your thoughts are playing, that are perpetually shifting you from one belief system to another belief system, and to realize that even the mind itself is a belief system. So it's kind of it's like having a lucid dream, but not even believing that it's a lucid dream either. Becoming so lucid that there is no dreamer anymore. But yeah, so that's basically it. Beliefs provide context, and the context is potentially one of infinite context. And as long as you are buying into one of the contexts, then you are going to be in a dream. And waking up basically is the absolute decontextualization of who could even say, because at that point it's unspeakable, because it's just completely decontextualized. If you like my channel, I would much appreciate it if you hit the subscribe button or the like button. If you know anybody who might like this, I would love it if you would share it, and I hope you have a great day.